So last time, you guys were, we came in right away with the issue of a sinkhole opening up right in the middle of Red Larch, designated by this black circle right at the crossroads in the middle of town. And you guys went right away into essentially rescue effort. You knew that some people had fallen in. You definitely knew that several were hurt. And you put together a pretty quick effort for, finding ropes, getting ladders, figuring out how to get down there, being able to see people. Dug them out, got them out. Gert, I believe, you recognized Ilmith down here, who was the person you were essentially investigating after a lead got to the constable that he was getting into some nefarious activity, some sketchy activity at night, about once a week with several other people who were not identified. And the constable that felt that was fit to look into for fear of more dangerous activities that he may have been tied to that have been happening around town, which brought you guys to this town in the first place. There's kind of a lot going on there. He did run away before you were able to get back down there. I think one of you sort of went after him, at least to be able to see where he was going, but he was long gone by the time you got to the other entrance, the actual entrance of this mysterious cave underneath Red Larch. So then after that, you guys ended up diving deeper into this cave and discovering some mysterious robes. There were water skins. Going farther in, you encountered a trap and ended up realizing that this cave was being actively used. On your way through, you did discover several bodies with a sort of almost ritualistically carved cut onto their foreheads that some rats, unfortunately, were having a field day with by the time you got there. And then at the end, toward the end, you encountered kind of all at the same time a child who happens to be the son of Ilmith, Braelin, and sort of
He
being...
was the son of someone else. I don't remember his name, though, because I lost my notebook.
Was it Rothar? Catherhand?
That one.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you
Rothar was his father, but he knew that he was working with Ilmith.
Yes.
There it is. Thank you for correcting me on that. So then at the very end, you ended up chasing one person into a room that had a series of mysteriously floating rocks and boulders. And after a brief fight with some bandits that ended up coming through yet another entrance toward the back, this man had also fled and disappeared, and you were left to go back out. So you took Braelin with you and saw the constable at the very entrance that you guys went down, sort of searching around behind you guys, and ended up determining that you should reconvene the next day. And I believe the last thing you guys did was go back to the inn with Braelin and planned on resting and sort of planning out the next day. Did I miss anything?
Sounds good.
Yeah. Level 3. We got to
Level 3.
Yeah, so that takes us to how we're going to do today a little bit differently. Offline, we've talked about essentially at like major checkpoints throughout this campaign, we'll do this sort of thing, and this is just the first one. We're going to do a few things. We're going to basically talk, we'll be doing a mix of in and out of character, talking about major things that have happened in the campaign thus far, major storyline elements that are open, maybe if others have closed. Where are you at with certain events, certain people, maybe open ends that you want to look into. There's two purposes for this. The first purpose is to have all of us really get a good perspective of the big picture that's happening with the campaign right now, and The second is to help me get a better understanding, other than just my notes in the moment, of what you guys are thinking about doing, what you guys are thinking about the plot lines and the people involved, so I can better plan for possibilities moving forward. So did anybody want to start with thoughts about this sort of overall picture? Not everybody all at once.
I'll bite the bullet. It's fine. What has Taryn been feeling? I'd say this moment, as of right now, he's kind of he's focused more about what's going on in the city rather than his own personal quarrels. He wants to know what's going on with Lymura, what was going on underneath, and he wants to make sure that Braelin is safe.
Taryn, are you able to turn yourself up at all? I can hear you. You're just very quiet.
Is that any better?
A little bit.
Okay, I had my microphone on mute mode, but Zoom doesn't do that. So 1 second, I'll get that. Alright, is that better?
Oh yeah, that's a lot better.
Zoom makes my audio drop to almost zero. But,
Good old Zoom.
good old Zoom.
Okay, so you said, let me recap that just to make sure I caught what you said. Taryn is very focused on, he's wondering what's going on with Lymura. You know that she's late for being at what is clearly an important time period right now to be in Red Larch. And then he's very concerned about what's going on underneath in this area underneath as well.
Yes.
Awesome.
And just kind of messing with the idea of maybe those two events are connected somehow, but not really sure if they are yet.
Okay. Anyone else? And this discussion really is not meant to necessarily be focused on just what happened last time. This is more like an overall from start to now sort of thinking out loud.
Okay. Sure. I think is she knew to expect some weird dark omens, since that's kind of why we were all brought to Red Larch in the first place. Didn't necessarily think that there would be a whole underground cavern beneath this relatively chill place. She's definitely concerned for the population of Red Larch, but is also kind of more concerned for the constable, in the sense that he seems to think that a lot of people in town are in on everything. Yeah, just kind of here for the ride at this point.
All right.
I think Whirl is also kind of just partially here for the ride and partially trying to find out just general stuff about a missing friend of hers. But it seems especially right now, it feels like there's 8 different ways we could go next. Now we have this child, we are workshopping, going south on the long road. The long road to go and search for people that way. We know that there's some wackadoo stuff happening off in the woods. And so I feel like there's so many possible things we could get to, and I know that literally all of it is time sensitive.
You're telling me.
I'm stressed out at the fact of how are we gonna make a decision about what happens next? And now also we have a child, which
yes.
We were making jokes 2 sessions ago about having a bear mascot, and I feel like we have a child now, so I feel like he's our bear. Like, let's just
These are
pull a
good.
Midsommar and like put him in the bear suit and call it good.
Just taxidermy bear head just right on top.
Taxidermy bear head. Boom.
Perfect.
Done and done.
Your name is no
love it.
longer Gareth, it is Boo Boo.
So I feel like
Braelin.
that's
Or Braelin
why.
Gareth, where did I get that?
yeah, just a whole bunch of things that could happen, and I'm like, now what? Like every time something happens, I'm like, cool. Now what are we gonna do?
Yeah, I mean, I think Gert is she is, because of this child, she has literally become suspicious of everyone, including the constable. Like, because I think she's less concerned about the constable and more concerned about everyone around the constable. And like, she just cannot, like, that's honestly, everything that has happened so far doesn't mean shit to her anymore. Like, the biggest thing for her is keeping this child safe. And I know that she said that last time around, but like, yeah, no, that's it.
Hardcore mom mode?
Yeah, no. And like, and once we figure out like that we're cool with him, or once we figure out a way to like put him in a safe space, then she can start to think about all of the other things that are happening. But for the moment, she has tunnel vision. So.
Gotcha.
We're trying to find Boo Boo Braelin, a Boo Boo Braelin box.
Yes.
Correct.
Don't think I didn't look through every single spell trying to figure out a way to make like a ward on our door so that we could just like keep him in there and nobody could come in.
Eventually, we will get there eventually.
Yes, but not yet.
At their level.
No.
we're not cool
They
enough
always
yet.
give you that kid before you're ready. Am I right?
Yeah.
All right. Cal, don't let me put you on the spot unnecessarily, but I want to make sure before I move on, I'm not skipping you if you did have something to say about that
No,
whole...
I'm last. Cal is on assignment, and so things are getting a little more complicated than he thought they would be. Like, this is one of those, just when it seems simple enough, something else happens and it, changes it up a little bit.
Yeah.
I think he is just trying to stay on task. He's not going to let, the child distract him or anything like that, but he's also not going to leave him to be harmed or anything like that. So this is just kind of another step in the way of solving the larger case of whatever's going on here. Not just with what happened last week, but like what has been happening since we got here.
Okay. That makes sense. So I will say, I'm glad that you all seem to be recognizing that there are many different directions that can be taken at this very point. So, on that note, bear with me today at the very least. I know I've been, usually I'm kind of, what's going to happen? I'm not really sure, but I've still been able to like actually prep. And like be ready for a variation of things, but this is by far the most open-ended that we've been so far. I know this is only like episode 5, but this is probably the most open-ended that this campaign will be, as far as like my ability to prepare for possibilities. So if I'm kind of slow on figuring out what to do or how to react to what you guys try, just bear with me. But then, yeah, after today, we should be on a much easier path of preparation on my part, for sure. So I guess with that, we'll flip to a little bit of character talk. So unless there is anything that you specifically in character would not be sharing with the party, I'm of a stance that it would, I think, be helpful for all 6 of us if we basically just talk a bit about what has changed for your character between level 2 and level 3. Especially because levels 2 and 3 are pretty big in the sense that they give you a projection. This campaign's going all the way to level 20. So you're running into things that are going to start making up your sort of bread and butter as far as abilities, combat capability, that sort of thing go. And I don't want it to necessarily go the route of, okay, tell everybody what you all can do so that you can, people take over and sort of give other characters directions on what to do. We definitely don't want to go that route. But again, more just the route of being familiar with each other. And again, what's new with level 3. So does anybody want to start?
I mean, mine's pretty simple. I just got a few more spells. But they're good ones.
Okay.
I'm excited about them.
Awesome.
I'm excited for you.
And clerics, you guys get to choose your spells daily, right? Without any extra cost or time?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Long
Okay.
rest.
Only
Yes.
only leveled spells though. No cantrips.
Gotcha.
Yeah, your cantrips are just inherently known. You just have those at the ready.
Yep.
Okay.
Me too. With this thing, I just get more spells. We get 2nd level spells now, which is nice. I think since I've been given a chance to choose a bigger variety of spells, I think Taryn's gonna go more interrogative and more of a personal cleric rather than a fighter cleric. But that doesn't mean he's not gonna have a couple powerful spells in his back pocket when he needs them.
Awesome.
I'm gonna grab a blanket real quick because I'm cold.
Adorable. Okay.
Okay. Whirl, is there what's significant for your change from level 2 to level 3?
I got to pick a bard college, and for our discussion, we were deciding between College of Lore and College of Lore. Because the second College of Lore was actually College of Eloquence, and I picked that one.
Okay.
And so I'm probably going to do more talking, or try and do more talking, in the near future to figure out how it works, and then I will continue to do significantly more talking.
Nice.
I'm
Okay.
stoked.
I'm so excited for that.
This party composition as a whole is like, I'm not gonna lie, you guys picked. I mean, the classes are fun, but then also the races, like. I'm gonna end up saying too much. I'm just gonna say I'm super excited about it. It's awesome.
I love it. I love how everybody's exotic.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
Yeah. Okay, so is there anything significant for your upgrade now?
I mean, I get to do some cool rogue shit, so that's neat.
Classic rogue shit.
Sneaky or
Yeah.
sneaking?
Pretty much, actually, yeah. I got to pick a roguish archetype, and I went with a pretty standard option, but it makes a lot of sense for my backstory. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Oh,
Awesome.
Cool.
And then Cal?
Well, not similarly, but not exactly like some of the bards and things like that. Apparently, barbarians have a choice of a primal path.
Pretty cool.
And I think most of this stuff affects when you go into a rage.
So cool.
So rage is a little bit, I think I get another rage, so I can use it. I can rage out a little more often. But after comparing and contrasting all of the different ones, this one seemed more like just interesting to me. And if I read up correctly, I can change it on certain like level ups and stuff like that. Or I think every level up I can adjust something about it. Not the path itself, but specifically the path that I chose. So I chose Path of the Storm Herald, and I get
Cool.
a storm aura. And so there's, as you keep leveling up, there's some passive effects that happen with that. There's a couple different choices with that, but for this one, there are things that are going to happen as I start the rage, and things I can do as bonus actions. So I'm excited to work with that. And I chose the safest one for now until I think we can get a little bit more accustomed to some things.
That's awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of flavor. It's a mix of context and flavor. I'm gonna start with you, Cal, because you're coming into in character as the most sort of experienced worldview from the character background perspective out of the group, I think. So at this point with your level 3, you've been in retirement for some time now, and basically you turned in. You had this feeling that you'd done your job, you'd done it well, you'd done it honorably, and you were ready to go through the rest of your life. And coming back in was highly unusual for military folk to get called in out of retirement. And along with that, at this point, level 3, I'm going to say, essentially puts you back into a feeling of your prime. When you were at your finest attunement of your training and combat ready, you didn't necessarily experience anything super extreme like all-out war, but relative to your experience in the past, you feel like you're sort of back at your best. The clerics Gert and Taryn, you guys are in new territory as far as I guess I'll go back to like worldview goes. This is your second major assignment with your faction, and everything that you've been through up to this point through your studies in the clergy have been a lot more peaceful, a lot more focused on people and well-being and life, that sort of thing. So you're in this sort of new vitality to you guys as far as capability and power essentially go. Whirl, you're in a you've been in a what the heck is going on mode for a bit now, but now you're starting to get a feeling of a little bit more feeling of focus and purpose. Especially, we forgot to mention, especially after this mysterious message that you received yesterday, in-game yesterday.
Yes.
So you're also in this sort of like new level of fine-tunement in your person. And then I gotta admit, you're a little harder to read. So I'm just gonna put you in a similar category, and if you want to add to it, feel free. But you're in this, like, you got called here by a faction that you ended up being affiliated with. I can't remember, was that to like keep busy, or was there any specific purpose behind you being involved with, was it Gauntlet? Order of the Gauntlet? No,
I thought you were
Harper's.
Harper.
Yeah, you're a Harper.
We're Harper buddies without knowing each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is there anything you want to add to that, or should we just kind of keep it at that for now?
What?
Sorry. Was there anything you wanted to add to that? I didn't have like a good grasp on like background aspect of going up to level 3 for you. Is there anything that you wanted to add to what I said, or are we just kind of keeping it at your here with the faction sort of following up on what they asked sort of thing?
I would say that it's definitely her working with a faction, trying to kind of establish herself as an adventurer. Now she's kind of growing into the abilities that she learned back at the caravan that she lived with. So she's, excited to see those abilities kind of come to fruition and actually be able to do the thing that she wanted to do back home, at least more successfully. But now she gets to do it with a bunch of new friends, so she's excited.
Awesome. Okay, so at this point now, you are, I believe, you're just after the long rest is completed, back at the inn. And now we're finally at the point where I get to say, what would you like to do? And cower in the corner while we figure that out.
The floodgates have been opened.
Yep.
Right.
What's Braelin doing? Is he still asleep, or is he panicking? What does it look like the situation is with him?
He's just hanging out with you guys right now. You've all been in a single room, and it's not really all that much to accommodate this one more small person. But as you guys wake up, he would just be kind of hanging out, maybe on a desk chair in the corner, just sort of waiting for you guys.
Hey, Braelin. I meant to ask you this last night. What does your dad do for a job? Do you know what your dad does?
He worked with the butchers.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, was he there in the circle last night when we all came up? Oh, you were sleeping. You didn't.
I remember you picking me up, and then we were here.
Yeah.
Perfect.
All right. So he works at the butcher shop, huh?
Uh-huh.
See? That's cool. Also, guys, and this may be an out of character question. Did we grab our stuff last night?
Grab your
What do you mean
stuff.
to grab your stuff? I
Yeah,
just
our
finished
stuff.
that all of my stuff is constantly on me.
Like
The ropes
just
and
carrying
things like
the
that.
ropes. Pounds of shit.
and the shovels and all of that
Oh, yeah.
stuff.
Yeah,
Did we
I-
grab that?
I don't think we explicitly said we did, but I feel
can-
like those that weren't with Braelin would probably gone to go grab stuff, but that's
Cool.
that's up to the group.
Great.
I'm okay with that. That's not really a significant retcon, so we can say that was
No,
the case.
I've listened to
Yeah.
things that people get real picky about, so
Right.
I just wanted
The
to.
rope is so important. you
Yeah,
guys.
I'm gonna say. In fact, I'll add to that and say you did see the four men who have always been with the constable guarding the sinkhole when you guys came back up. And it's easy to say like everybody else would have cleaned up and cleared out. So yeah, I'm fine with you guys saying that you would have picked all your stuff back up.
Cool. Also, the shovels didn't belong to us. They were from the townspeople.
One did. It was mine.
Oh, my bad. Mine wasn't. Mine was a townsperson.
Yeah.
Because I was like, shovel please, friend. Thanks.
Yeah, and nobody came back to you like looking for things to be returned. So you can either add a shovel to your inventory or maybe just kind of leave it.
That will be my ancillary weapon to my my wand. I'll just be like the shoveler. Just
There you
like
go.
Love it.
Yeah, I'll be William H. Macy in that one movie.
Oh my god. I love that movie. I know what you're talking
It's the
about.
best. 'Cause
Mystery
I can't
Men,
see
is
the
that what
bullet.
it is?
I almost bought a bowling ball with a head in it once.
Oh
but
my
anyway,
god. Ugh.
Yeah, it was like $60, and I was like, ugh, so tempting. Anyway, have we fed Braelin yet? Does he look happy and fed? Should we go down and get him some breakfast, Gruel?
No,
Or,
you're
like,
still
sit
you're
down
still
and
up
get
in your
Gruel?
room, so you haven't done anything yet.
Cool.
I say that we should leave him up here and just
Right.
one of us goes down to get some food.
Okay. Yeah, I can go down. That's okay.
Do you know how much you'll need? Oh wait, Whirl, you get us stuff for free, don't you?
I can
Also-
ask.
Also, the woman who owns the place, who
Starts with an L,
is
I think.
Calissa.
Okay.
I was close.
Yeah, Calissa. She told us early on that like we're good. So
Oh, right.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So yeah, why don't you run down and grab us some breakfast?
Sure. I
Great.
will head downstairs and talk to whoever I need to talk to get some breakfasts.
Okay.
Great.
You've been here in and out. I think 4 days now, maybe
that sounds
more.
right.
So you're now starting to see familiar faces as far as who's working. So you'll go to the bar and dining area where you'll see the bartender that you encountered on the first evening, and he'll quickly and readily help you out with grabbing food.
Perfect.
I'm really sorry, guys. I need 2 seconds. I'll be right back.
Sure. I'm trying to find the bartender's name if we ever got it.
I think it was just Calissa because I think. Oh no, there was one other bartender, wasn't there?
Right, but I don't think we
Yeah.
got his name the first time because I remember
Yeah.
I remember Gert pointing that out.
Yeah.
And being like, we never got her name.
That's true. I'll ask.
Okay.
Side note, I freaking called it.
You did. You totally called it. We talked about it this
We
weekend.
had,
We had like all of these ideas.
I love it.
Yeah.
Dang. Can't
No.
trust anybody. Even
That's
the
what I'm
people that
saying.
need to trust. God
I
dang.
know. I'm just terrified of everything now.
Saying.
I know.
I keep calling the constable the commissioner, but we need to talk to him.
Constable Gordon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. That's like every time. I keep going between commissioner and
Okay.
oh gosh.
Can we start calling him Constable Kropke and just make fun of him the whole time?
Theater majors.
Someone's gonna start
From
watching
the
this being like,
bard.
What? Of course it's for me. I made like 3 movie jokes in the last 20 minutes?
I love
Not
it.
even 20.
Yeah.
There was no.
Yeah, they've been coming in hot.
Yeah. So
I did
do.
really quickly want to ask the name of the bartender. I've seen you in here a few times, but I feel really bad. Have not gotten your name yet. We're staying upstairs in our fun little party of adventurers, and we don't know your name. I'd like to change that.
Name's Darren, and he
Darren.
will extend a hand.
It is nice to meet you. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Thank you for the food. Probably be back eventually for more food because, we gotta eat a couple times a day. Okay, I'm gonna stop awkwardly talking. I'll see you later and head back upstairs.
Looking forward to it as you're sort of walking away.
All right, here you go. Here's some pastries. Here's some meat stew if anyone jives with that. Anyone wants some fruit? That looks like a good apple right there if anyone wants that one. Got a
Probably
little
just
cup
like a
of
chunk
honey.
of ham. Yeah.
Perfect.
Cup of honey. Nice.
Braelin's gonna be super wide-eyed and swipe at the apple right away and kind of just start going hard at it.
Yeah, bud, go to town. So what's our plan for today, guys? It's there's a bit of new information at play that is suspicious, to say the least.
I think we should talk to the constable, but leave Braelin out of it.
Right.
It could be assumed that we're letting Braelin eat his
we're
food
like
and
whispering away from him.
Off
Yeah.
in the corner. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we need to keep him in this room as long as we can.
Mm-hmm.
But we definitely need to talk to the constable, but we also kind of need to talk to the constable alone.
yeah.
Right.
And I don't know how alone we can be in that butcher shop.
I mean, he's expecting us any minute now at this point, so
Yeah. It would
hopefully.
also be.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. Go ahead.
It's okay. Go
I'm
ahead.
just saying it would also be great if we, like, knew that he was telling the truth.
That would be good. Maybe. No, I'm feeling a little. I'm having a little extra energy today. Maybe something will pop up.
Hint, hint, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, gesture, gesture.
Merle high churched up in this bitch.
Yep, exactly.
Zone of truth flashes behind him, like just in
Like a
big yellow
neon
letters.
sign.
Yeah.
I have a proposition for Braelin. At this point, kind of hard to trust anybody in this town, but I'm thinking that we might be able to trust Yalantha at the boarding house. Just tell her, hey, we found this kid in the pit and we don't know who his parents are. Can you just hang on to him for a little bit? Because we can't just leave him alone in our room here at the inn. Because then at least he might be able to play with other kids. Would have probably a steady stream of food. But it's also suspicious because I don't trust anybody except you guys.
No. And see, the only thing that worries me about that idea is what if Rother goes there and
Yeah.
says, "Oh, this is my child," you know, then of course she would say, "Oh, thank goodness, I'm so glad that he was found."
Or even worse, what if she knows who his father is?
Oh, that's
Right.
true. There really is no good situation
no.
here, is there?
I think we just need to sort of keep him in this room and hope that maybe we can keep him busy, give him some magical coloring books or something.
Maybe
I
I can go
got
find
some-
some toys.
I've got some paper and stuff he can draw, and I can sing at him.
Oh, I like that. I like that. I
Yeah.
can leave my pan flute here with him. He can just cause ruckus and bother the staff here, and it'll be fun.
Yeah.
And they'll come up and they'll-
Maybe completely alone isn't the best idea.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll babysit him. We're not going to leave him. I feel like this kid probably doesn't exactly want to be left alone after having spent questionable amount of time buried in a pit. So
Fair.
I was at least one of us. I don't believe that Gert is going to leave his side until we have like a full stop plan as to where he's going. But I also am sure that at least another one of us can babysit if we have to.
That's true. We can take shifts. We don't want to put all the responsibility on you, Gert.
I appreciate that, because I would also love to at least be there to hear what the constable has to say for himself.
Mm-hmm. Maybe we can convince him to go back to sleep for a minute.
I mean, or you get four can go and talk to the constable and zone of truth him and, you know, rough him up a little bit, Cal. And I can like hang with the kid for a little bit.
If you're comfortable with that.
Sure. My hair is blue. Like, we got this.
It's gonna be entertaining.
Thanks.
Yeah.
You can make him levitate too.
Ooh, I could just jiggle him into the air and then put him back down. And then he could be like, do it again. I'll be like, sorry, I have to go to sleep.
And he wouldn't understand because he's a kid.
I
Oh,
know.
That sounds like a fun time. I like it.
When you're level 3, you'll understand.
All right. So, let's go see the constable.
Okay. We'll be back as soon as possible, Whirl.
Cool.
Hang tight. Enjoy that meat pie over there. That looks like a good bear claw if you're interested in that one too. I know it's a lot of carbs, but it's going to be tasty.
Bear
I
claw,
promise.
nice.
Bear claw.
Awesome.
Maybe
Nah,
try
we're
to
bear
get
claws.
maybe try to get some protein in Braelin.
I will.
Ooh, good idea.
There's meat pies. I'll find
Yeah,
something. We'll be good.
Give me.
All for me.
Here's a turkey leg.
It's like that. It's like that big.
It's as big as his head.
I'm just assuming that the breakfasts were like proper like English breakfasts. So you have like the ham and then like 3 other forms of protein, like beans, half a tomato, and like they think about maybe a potato. That's what I'm shooting for.
Sweet.
Cool.
Leave
Alright.
the tavern and go to the constables.
Yep. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Well,
Sorry?
oh, you. I just wanted to say while we're walking there. So do we want to do this? Do we want to tell him? Do we want to ask him first before we try to force anything out of him? Do we want to let him know what's going to happen? How do we want to approach him? Because he's very much not an enemy that we want to make.
I mean, we can be forthright and tell him that, like him, we're concerned about the integrity of those around here and want to make sure that he is in line with what he's looking for and with our kind of ideals. So we can pitch that and then just do it if he says no. Because I feel like we're in need of answers at this point. It's up to you guys, though. I can't do the cool magic thing, so that's all on you.
I mean, you know what party I'm in. I'm in the, like, we need to get the truth out of him, period, and know that it's the truth. So I'm for just doing it. But
Okay.
I will, if I'm outvoted, that's fine. Cal, what do you think?
I feel like now you got me doing it. Commodore.
It's
Yeah, he's one of the
Commodore is the other
Commodores.
one. No, that's the other one that I keep doing because of Adventure Zone.
Yeah.
So good.
The
Captain Bane.
Constable.
Karma, chameleon.
Yes.
no, we're gonna.
The
I feel like
constable.
Harburk is not. I feel like we're on a first name basis. So Harburk, I feel like he is not aware of this subterfuge. I could be wrong, but it seems like if he has just a close circle of friends in that back room, then he wouldn't willingly bring someone who is a spy to try and stop the things that they are trying to do. It just doesn't add up to me. So I think maybe having a conversation with him one-on-one might be wise.
1-on-1 or 4-on-1 without his guards?
Well, with him alone.
Okay.
As long as it doesn't cause suspicion around this Rothar, we should be
Yeah.
okay.
They are there when we go in. We should ask to be introduced to all of them.
You're very quiet. What was that?
Oh, sorry. I said when we do get there, if his group is there, we should ask to be introduced to each of them so that we can put a face to the name.
That's a great idea.
If he still works for them. Because he may not, we don't know. Cross our fingers.
We'll find out soon.
So, yep, that's all.
So plan of attack, not attack, is to walk in, ask to be introduced. If we don't find out that Rothar is in the building at the moment, we will request to speak with the constable alone, and then depending on the outcome, use magic to assist him in becoming forthright.
Sounds good to me. Alright, we walk into the butcher shop.
Okay. So you
We're
guys.
there. We've been there.
Yep. You get to the door. I'm assuming you just. Are you knocking? Are you just waltzing in?
Are you just gonna super kick the door down? Because not that I don't want to see that happen from
Oh, Constable!
No, well, I'll walk up and I will knock the same knock that I've used before.
Okay.
Shave and a haircut.
So, oh man. So as you guys get to the door, you will hear murmurs of discussion happening, and then Cal, when you knock on the door, the constable will quickly open it up and gesture for you to come in.
Hello, Constable. One second, I apologize. It's the morning. I'm having a hard time with my words.
Good save.
Your men know us, but do you think it would be feasible for us to be introduced to your four? I haven't even looked to see if they're in here yet.
Yes, all four of them are in there, and they're the only 5 people here other than you now.
I'm just.
Yeah, so he'll respond with, I'm sorry, I understand that this might make trust difficult as it already is, but I did assure them before telling you the other day that because of the activities around here lately, I will not be sharing their names for their safety.
In a whisper, I just kind of get close to him, and I'm just going to say, "You may have some information involving them that could be detrimental to your operation."
He'll sort of look up, and give them a nod, and as if they had just read some sort of code, they get up and start walking out, past you and out the door.
So last night.
Sorry, I want to make sure I don't leave anything out. So they'll go out the door, and as they're leaving, he'll close the door and say, for my protection, the farthest they can go for now is guarding the door.
That is fine, as long as they can't hear us.
In that case, we should probably go to the back room, and he'll take you guys back into the second room that you guys were in last time you were here.
So last night, while we were in the hole, we found a name, and it was associated with yours. His name was Rothgar Hatherhand, and it was associated with as he was working with you in
Hatherhand. He doesn't work with me. Why do you think he works with me?
It was just he was associated with your name when we found it.
With me by name?
Who's associated with the butcher?
Oh. Well. Lucky for me, we're not the only butcher.
Oh, thank God.
Really? In a town this small, there's multiple butchers?
Actually, there is.
Wow. Capitalism with competition.
Yep.
Crazy.
Hatherhand, huh? I think I've heard that name before. And if it's associated with a butcher, you'll want to be checking out Mhandyvers.
Mhandyvers.
Mhandyver.
Mhandyvver. I don't know why names are so.
Wait a minute.
M-H-A-N.
Yep. Dyvver.
Oh, these names, man.
Gracious.
I don't understand it with these names. If it's a name like Darren, you know I came up with it.
Right.
Right? Yeah. Constable, for my to calm my mind a little bit because of everything that's happened in the last few days, would you be willing to have a conversation with us under a zone of truth?
A zone of truth. What is that?
It is
Basically, we all have to tell the truth.
every
And we
one
know
of
we
us.
all have to tell the truth.
You don't trust me.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
It's not that I don't. And I am the only one in this party who is feeling strongly about this. I just need that last little bit of certainty because, as you said, there are many people around here who could be playing for the other team.
He'll as you're sort of finishing up that sentence, he'll hold up a hand as if to say, I understand, and pretty much without missing a beat and without changing his demeanor at all, he'll say, all right, I'll do it. Let's do it. We can't have mistrust between us, me being the person in charge of this town and you being the people who were sent here to help. Is it gonna hurt?
Not that I know of. And cast instantly.
And suddenly everyone's hair singes off.
Boop.
Okay, so Zone of Truth. Thank you for clicking on that.
Charisma save if he chooses to not want to be affected.
He did volunteer, so there's not going to be a save necessary. You know whether each creature succeeds or fails, so
I know that he will be telling the truth and isn't.
yes,
Withstanding
and
the spell.
so it doesn't because of that part of the text. I'm gonna actually add a piece to it. An affected creature. No, sorry, that was the wrong. I was just looking at it. You know if it succeeds or fails, right? If they succeed or fail. Yeah, there it is. You know whether each creature succeeds or fails on its saving throw. I'm going to add to that and say you would also know if they didn't attempt to resist in the first place. So I'm going to say that you know he didn't. He said he was not. He was going to go with it, and then you also know after casting the spell that he did not resist.
Awesome. Constable. Gert, what would you like to ask?
What do you know about Rother Heatherhand?
I know that he works at Mhandyver's.
Have you met him? Do you know who else he might associate with?
Other than Mhandyver himself, no. I have also not met him before. I have only taken tabs on the people in general in this town. I have seen him before.
What does he look like?
Damn it, I knew you were gonna ask me that. Let me look! Hey, this being the first time I actually have to take a pause and look is, I'm gonna call it good for now.
Yeah, proud of you.
That's the wrong person.
We made it 5 sessions. It's pretty good to have to not look for something.
Oh no, I've had to in previous sessions. I just mean today specifically because there's literally dozens of things you guys could do or could have done by now already. So, okay, so he is a pretty average-looking human man with brown hair and a fairly strong build, and he's middle-aged.
Strong build of middle age.
You are talking about Rothar now, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Yep.
So, Constable, since you have shown me so much, I fully trust you now. Thank you for agreeing to do this and all of that. Now I am going to give you a gesture of trust. We may need your help. We have a young child that we are trying to protect.
The same child as last night?
Yes.
I have already spoken with... Crap, forgot her name. Yalantha, Mother Yalantha. And if you think it may be necessary, she is one of the very few people right now that I would trust.
Okay. Can we give her Heatherhand's name and make sure that he comes nowhere near that child?
I believe, given the circumstances, we could. We can also keep it between us and her, of course, that the child is there.
I would appreciate that. Was there anything else that you gentlemen needed to discuss with the constable?
Constable. Or I suppose Gert. How much information are you okay with me sharing with the constable for a question that I have?
Honestly, at this point,
I'll be right back.
we're good. I trust him with everything. I trust him as much as I trust you.
Thank you. Constable, I would prefer if you took a seat, because what I'm about to tell you may make you sick to your stomach.
I am a butcher, you know.
I would still suggest it anyways.
If you insist, and he'll just kind of like, he'll just grab the chair from his desk that's in the back, and take a seat on it, and sort of cross his legs and arms and wait for your question.
So last night while we were in the hold, we found that child buried underneath about I would say quite a few rocks that were too large for him to lift. They were set there on purpose, and there was no food or water present. He informed us that his father was a part of the men who had performed such things on him. And having seen a thing or two about children not having an able-bodied family or worse, how big of a punishment would we be allowed to enact upon him if we were to find him?
And illness, for that matter.
He looks clearly infuriated. And he'll ask the clarifying question, the child was intentionally buried?
Yes.
Did you happen to see the men in the adjacent room to that chamber?
It was, Iz and Cal did, right?
I believe all 5 of you did.
Yes. He was... Ooh, forgot. Did I write this description down? I'm not sure. Maybe. We'll see. There's a lot going on last session. Yeah, I didn't get it down.
Okay, that's fine. He'll continue. Those bodies were marked. Now, I didn't want to be right when I thought there might be cult activity happening around here. But marking like that on people's bodies and killing them, as far as I'm concerned, they're murders. And they get what they deserve, whatever you choose that to be.
Thank you. Cal, anything you want to ask? Is...
Yeah, that about covers it.
Nope.
The zone of truth is gone.
You'll see the pupils in his eyes sort of undilate. I don't know what the opposite of dilate is.
Live away.
Retract?
Retract, something like that. The pupils of his eyes will sort of shrink down a little bit again, and he'll blink once and look at you, Gert, and say, "Are you feeling okay now?"
Yes, thank you so much.
He's going to turn and go to his desk and pull out his now familiar stack of papers and sort of shuffle through a few and come back to you and say, here's my page. Califras, Lord's Alliance, yes?
Indeed.
Terran and Gert, Order of the Gauntlet, yes?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Iz and Whirl, Harpers, yes?
That is correct.
I'm going to give you some names of people you should see. These are people who would at least be affiliated with the people who sent you. I don't know if they have more information for you or not. However, they are some of my contacts. I'm going to respectfully ask that you keep that piece of information to yourselves.
Of course.
Is that okay?
Yes.
Califras, you want to find Helver and Megla Tarnlar. They run, and this is a part where I'm going to have to flip back and forth a little bit.
Just for kind of flavor, as as this conversation has been happening, and Taryn has been given the permission to, punish somebody for leaving a child to die, his eyes have been slowly becoming brighter and brighter with a red glare.
Nice.
Oh,
He mad tiefling.
He eyes glow.
All right, Califras, you want to find. I said the names right. Helver and Megla Tarnlar.
yes.
They run the clothing shop in the center of town, and that is the number 7 that's actually already marked on the map for you guys. Taryn and Gert, you've already met Imdar. He is your contact for the Order of the Gauntlet. I believe he was looking for you earlier, but there may have been some confusion.
Earlier.
Sorry?
You keep going. I'll
Okay.
ask after.
And then he'll look to you, Iz and Whirl, and say,
I'm not here.
"Oh, that's right, you're not here."
I'm hanging with a child.
Okay. Well, we're gonna retcon that a little bit. I'm sorry, I forgot you were not there. He would ask, "Where is your 5th companion?"
Whirl is currently on babysitting duty.
Yes, the boy. And is it correct? Is that he's with you, associated with the Harpers?
Mhm.
Very well. You need to find Endrith Valavo. Where is that? That's down here. Okay. He... Not on this tab. He owns a sundries shop on the south side of town. And for you guys, that is number 22. Now it's the very south along the long road on the right hand side.
Cool.
Got it. Thank you.
And just before he sends you guys off, he'll say, "I've never experienced cult activity before myself, but as I understand it is very dangerous. I have many strings to pull, and hopefully we can touch base within the next day or so with updates for each other." Yes?
I hope so.
Very well.
Try our hardest. Constable, you mentioned confusion earlier about Emdar looking for Gert and I. Did you mean earlier as in earlier today, or?
No, he told me that he ran into... that you came to him, actually. Was it yesterday?
Was it yesterday? It's kind of blurry.
I think it was in-game yesterday. I think it actually was.
Woof. Yesterday was very long day.
A lot of stuff happened. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure yesterday we started looking at the wagon place.
You started
Yeah,
at the
we
wagon
started-
place,
Yeah.
then you went to the shrine, and then
Yeah.
you went nighttime recon.
Oh my gosh.
Back to
And
the
then
game.
Gert went and
So much.
sold some goods. No, he was Gert needs to go back, or not Gert. Cal needs to go back to the weapon shop at some point. Spoiler
Yeah,
alert.
because his javelin that plays Thunderstruck is getting here.
Yeah.
3 more days.
3 more days. What? Why did you do that?
It takes 4 days.
It's gonna be November before we like see that thing again.
Yeah, but it takes 4 days. Like,
We can make this a plug for playing every week.
I would be down. I would love to have a Friday night weekly game. Yeah.
Well, we can reevaluate
We'll
that
workshop it.
Later.
offline. Yeah. But anywho, he did. Constable didn't have anything else to relay to you guys at this point.
Let's get Braelin taken care of.
Thank you so much, Constable.
Likewise.
Okay, back to the inn.
Yeah.
Woo. We have an ally.
Yay! Ally.
Okay, back to the inn.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. The spoiler alert: nothing significant happens. You see a general bustling of people that's all familiar at this point. There I will say there have been like stakes planted in the ground around the sinkhole and sort of barred off in a makeshift sort of way. It's barely been half a day since the incident last night, so it seems like a general initial attempt at sort of keeping people a safe distance away from the hole, which is still there. And then as you guys go to the inn, you see the familiar sight of people sort of in and out. You do hear murmurs here and there about the hole in the middle of town, and people fell in, nobody died, blah blah blah. You hear no mention of the oddly marked bodies or a missing boy or even the floating rocks, but just the general sort of gossiping of the surface level incident itself.
Is there anything blocking the hole, just out of curiosity?
No, it's generally just kind of like a makeshift fence around it. And I'll say if you like stick around for a minute or two to like watch it, you will see people sort of in and out of one of the two, a couple of the shops with a couple of loose sort of pieces of material to like add to it. So it's clearly like a work in progress.
Okay. I was just curious to see what it looked like.
Yeah, it's about the same, just kind of this in progress makeshift fence around it. Whirl, anything significant that you would want to be doing or talking about with Braelin? We're gonna say that took about maybe 10 minutes. So if we want to flip to you before they come back in.
Sure. I want to get out some paper and my ink and stuff and just start drawing with him.
Okay.
And then, hey, Braelin, and like as we're drawing, we're just like chatting about like, I don't know, bugs or whatever 8-year-olds like to chat about.
All right.
I'm going to draw the symbol that I saw and be like, hey, have you seen this anywhere?
Hey, you know that too?
Yeah, well, can you tell me more about it? I just saw it.
Oh yeah, some of the people that my dad worked with have robes with that. It's like right here, and he'll sort of like put a circle on the upper chest where you would notice is kind of a similar placement to like Cal's brooch for his more decorative clothing over his armor.
Do you know if it has a name?
No. I just know that my dad seemed kind of scared of them.
Ooh. He was scared of it. Do you know, have you seen any other symbols like that? Anything close to that you could draw?
No.
Like out of character, but how well would I have remembered the big like symbol that we saw in the fire in the cave.
I would say you would easily, like, with respect to, like, trying to draw it, you mean?
Yeah,
You'd be able to do that easily.
tight. So I'm going to draw that, the whole thing, and then show that to Braelin and be like, do you recognize any of these other symbols?
Are you drawing that whole eye symbol as it was? Or in
Yeah.
pieces?
I draw it as it was, but like with a little bit of space, because I've obviously recognized that like one of them is one of them.
Uh-huh.
And so I want to see if he knows any more of them.
Okay. He's gonna, like, lean in real close and be like, oh, no. Is that dwarfish? I like symbol languages. I don't understand them, though.
That's okay. I don't know a whole lot of languages either. But hey, do you want to play one cool trick? I can only do it once. And then we can maybe do it once tomorrow. But can we do it? You want to do a real cool trick?
Yeah, I love magic. Is it magic?
Okay, cool. It's kinda. It's more, you see how my hair just like moves around?
Uh-huh.
So I can make other things just move around.
Whoa.
Okay,
Like what?
so can I make you float into the air for a little bit?
You're gonna make me fly?
Well, like float.
Okay.
Okay, and so I'm gonna have him I'm gonna just cast levitate on him, but like make sure he doesn't bump the ceiling, and I'll just
Okay.
kind of hold him there for about 10 seconds.
So right before you do it, he's gonna, like, get into, like, a power squat stance. Like, oh,
Hey.
yeah, I'm ready.
Amazing.
And then, okay, you're gonna cast levitate on him?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm going to physically touch it so that I can't cast it again today because I believe in us as a team that I won't need. Speeches of traits.
Yeah, you'd only need to do that if, like, some idiot triggered a ceiling cage.
Right. I cast levitate. I don't know if it did anything, but I'm just
Okay.
gonna like float him in the air for like 10 seconds. Maybe like a little bit of jiggling, but I don't think I can do a whole lot more than that.
Okay, so he's gonna
Yeah.
get in this, like, little power squat stance and, like, crinkle his mouth like he's ready for it. And then you'll cast levitate and he'll sort of float up a little bit off the ground and he'll be like, whoa! And then, like excitedly wiggle a little bit and then start to, like, uh-oh.
And I'll tilt him back over.
Oh! And then he'll float back down and be like, oh, it was so cool. Can you do it again?
So buddy, I can only do one a day. But
Oh,
tomorrow
man.
I will do another one, I promise.
Okay.
If I can get to you. Yeah. And then we're gonna high five on it. High five. Like that. Yeah.
Power stance.
Cool.
He's gonna like flop back to the ground and start drawing the symbol you showed him over and over and
Right.
over again.
Oh, that's maybe too much information I just gave a child. Cool, and I'm just gonna keep drawing like trees and stuff, just for drawing in children time.
Awesome.
Cool.
Okay, so at this point, if the rest of you are coming straight up, I'm gonna say you would be back here by this point.
Taryn's just gonna be the last to enter the room. Just putting it out there so when he comes in, I wanted to say something.
Okay, as you guys are coming in, Jesus, forgot his name again. Brain fart.
Braelin?
Braelin.
Braelin?
Braelin's gonna run up to you guys and be like, "Hey, check it out! Look what the wind lady showed me!" And he's gonna hold up this piece of paper with this one symbol, just sort of like in different orientations all over the paper.
Cool, bud. But you shouldn't draw that anymore, okay?
No, sorry.
Uh-oh, am I in trouble?
It's okay. Oh, no. No. You're great at drawing. You're really good. But that one, maybe that's our secret.
Oh, I'm good at secrets. Okay.
Yeah.
And he'll
Okay.
like crumple up the paper and shove it down his pants.
Perfect. That's what kids start with.
Perfect.
Like a giant pocket in there, you know?
Yeah.
Exactly. I think I broke Schmo again.
As long as you tuck your pants into your shoes, you can still so much.
It's been a very RP heavy day. We gotta
Right.
make it a little entertaining, right?
Extra fourth wall comedy.
Yeah.
Good news, Whirl. Constable's clear, and there's 2 butchers.
Wild. Because apparently one butcher for this one butcher shop was clearly not enough. Or do they like butcher different things? That was the next silly question I would have had, but that's wild. Also fun information. It looks like somebody's dad is afraid of this spooky symbol that I saw on all of the people in the floaty rock room. And then I'll kind of like explain like that I saw that one symbol, and then how apparently it's been on like, it's like on a brooch on everyone. But it sounds like Rothar is, right? Rothlar? I keep wanting to call him Rothgar, but there's no T in there.
I don't know.
Braelin's dad, is afraid of music. So I'm now extra confused.
Just from the back of the group, Braelin's dad is going to be afraid of something else, hopefully within a day, as the fully red, very much glowing eyes just pierce from the back, and the horns are lit up with the equally red glow.
Nice.
Fun.
Terran mad, Terran smash!
Exactly that.
Love it.
I would like to multi-class into barbarian, please.
Who's got 2 thumbs and gonna kick some ass? This guy.
There you go.
I'm here to chew gum and kick ass, and I'm all out of ass. Wait, that's not it.
Wait a minute. Oh, man.
So we need to take Braelin over to see Yalantha. Right?
Yes. How daylight do we want it to be while we
That's
do
what
that?
I was wondering.
I think calming down, dimming the lights as much as he can. I think daylight would be fine as long as we keep him hidden. If we circle around, make sure nobody can see him.
Was that a question for me or the group? I'm sorry.
I was talking to the group.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
If we like stand in a circle around him and kind of keep him in the middle to where nobody can see him, I think we would be okay.
I mean, we are quite a conspicuous group.
Yeah.
So I'm just imagining, out of character, I'm just imagining this like tight clump just like, very cartoonesque.
Like the nematodes from SpongeBob.
Yes.
Just...
Yeah. I wish we could just like make him taller. Or, disappear. That would be fun too. I can't do that.
I don't
Right,
think I
like
can
that.
disappear either. Can I disappear?
Could we have him like
Disappear.
riding on Cal's back and then like hide him enough that he maybe just looks like a backpack?
I was thinking about that. Like, do we
How do we disguise
Just,
this
like,
Cal?
No.
I do have a disguise kit, so we could probably do something with that.
right?
Boom.
You do. You can do the things.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Great.
Let's do the thing.
Let's do the thing.
Thing is
You
being
fine?
done.
Ready to dress up in a disguise?
Oh,
It's
do
gonna
you
be so
mean
much
like
fun for
the
you.
bad men?
No, this is gonna be fun.
It'll be
You can
fun.
look
It's
like whatever you want.
Whatever I want.
Kinda.
He's gonna like rear his head over to Cal and be like, "Can I look like the Dragon Man?"
You know, I don't know.
I thought you said whatever you wanted.
I'm I'm legitimately looking up the limitations of the disguise kit because I don't quite know.
I mean, facial paint might help a little bit, but
Do I have
Probably.
anything painty? I don't think so.
This pouch of cosmetics, hair dye, and small props lets you create a disguise that change your physical appearance. Okay, so might be
What
kind of
color
okay.
hair do you want?
Yeah, it's not like a full shapeshift.
I mean, I
Do you
could
wanna
cut
be
out, I
a
could
werewolf?
cut out a whole bunch of paper, and we could make up them red, and we could like put them on his face so they look like scales.
That would
It'd be
take
a
a
little
while.
time consuming,
It
but
would take a while.
pretty
Yeah,
fun.
it was totally a joke, I guess. Out of anyway, just a thing that my brain did.
Still love it.
It's all
Um,
good.
Why don't we just like put him in some hats and just general things that make him not maybe look like the child that he is?
Yeah.
Try to do something mild and disguisey. We just have to walk him across town.
Yeah, it's like right down the street, right?
Yeah.
It's not too far.
yeah.
Go ahead.
How tall is Braelin?
He's
Yeah.
he's like an 8-year-old kid, so I'm gonna say, what's an 8-year-old kid
4
usually like 3.5, 4
4
feet tall?
foot. Yeah.
Probably.
Like, is he like halfling size tall?
Actually,
Like,
yeah,
Constable
that's a
Harburk?
good comparison. He would be about the size of like an adult halfling.
What if we cut some of my hair? Use your disguise kit to attach it to his face, and make him look like an adult. And then we can use cloaks to hide his childness. But
Yes. 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 I love this. I love this. This is going to be great.
We're gonna make you look like a grown-up, Braelin. It's gonna be so fun.
Oh man, I don't want sponsorbilities though.
Oh, you want.
Responsibilities.
It's only going to be pretend for like a couple minutes just to get you to. Do you know Mother Yalantha? She's pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, she houses all those people at her house, right?
Yeah, I think there's some kids over there. We just got to get you over there. So we're going to play pretend from here until there, and then you can go back to Braelin.
Okay.
Cool.
Most agreeable child.
I love it.
Cal, Cal, would you mind helping me with a haircut?
How I'll take out one of my hand axes and I'll get how close do
Yoink.
you want it?
Just long enough to hide the horns.
Oh. Like leave enough to hide the
Like,
horns.
leave enough to be able to position it to where there's only a little bit poking out.
Okay. I don't know if I gotta do a check to do this, but yeah, I'll kind of muss it up a little bit to make sure that it's covering the horns and stuff like that. Kind of do some like measurements, and I'll try and get it all in a group. I'll lead them to like. Is there like a table in the room?
Yeah. So the room in general has like a couple of beds and then a couple of like on the floor, almost cot-like structures for just bed rolls, and then there was like one large dresser and one desk with a couple of chairs or one table really with a couple of chairs at it.
I just need the table and a chair, and I'll sit him down in the chair and lean his head back, and I'll stay still. And I will.
Terran stays as still as he can, with a dragonborn holding an axe over his head.
And then I'll try and do that axe haircut technique.
Okay.
What's your Karen? What's your hair's AC?
I'm gonna have you make just for funsies here. Let's make it a dex roll for you, Cal.
Oh, I'm so excited.
For like carefully, skillfully wielding your axe here.
He rolls a nat 1 and cuts my horns off.
That's You're lucky that's all I
No,
got off.
yeah, you're undercut. Oh,
19.
All right. Yep. Whatever flavor and flair you want to give to it, I say go for it.
Give him a pompadour.
I mean, I'll drop it down, and it's a nice clean cut, and I'll have like the cut pieces off, and I'll have it up. Yeah, it was about right. And I'll hand it over to make the disguise stuff.
Braelin's gonna look over at you and exclaim, "Good job!" and then like slam his hands together like this toward you.
I'll have the axe put away, and I'll just kind of give him a nice little bow.
Cal, perception check, please.
Perception, you say?
Yes.
Hey, that's a cool hand gesture.
14.
Are you making gang signs in our inn room?
You are oddly familiar with the gesture that Braelin just made.
Oh, that wasn't just like a kid thing. Okay. Oddly familiar, like I know what it is, or
You've seen it before.
is it? Am I throwing up signs? Was that a?
If you copied what he did you copy exactly what he did?
Well, that's the thing. Like, if I recognized it as something different first, I wouldn't have done anything in response.
Fair.
As just a little kid doing something, I would have had like a gracious bow or something like that, kind of mimicking it to make him feel cool. But like, if I recognize that and I'm like, hey, we don't do that in this house, then I want to know that.
Yeah, with your 14, you recognize this symbol from your encounter with the bandits.
Oh, I remember that now.
Okay, so as I recognize that, I'm not going to copy it.
Okay. Minor retcon, that's all right.
I will instead take note of that, and I'll just kind of give him a wink, like, like old-timey baseball players used to do. Go get him, kiddo, or something. I don't know.
There you go.
Oh.
And then
Avoid the clap, Jimmy Dugan. Wow.
and yeah, so that's what I'll do.
All right.
Oh god. Well, what's the disguise kit looking like? Like, what are we gonna turn Braelin into? How's he gonna look?
I mean,
Well, that's up to you guys.
Are we still shooting for a generally kind of halfling adult?
that sounds reasonable. I think we can do that.
Cool.
Yeah, so we'll arrange the hair on his face, kind of slick his hair back a little bit, even though it's mostly going to be hidden under a cloak. Kind of, clean him up a little bit so he looks a little bit more put together and responsible, I guess. And once we're all done, we'll kind of step back and admire our good work for a minute.
All right, when you're done, he's gonna sort of like jig his arms back and forth. Am I old now?
You look great, bud. You're so handsome.
I think if we have a adult conversation on the way there, so people, if they overhear us, they'll understand that you are in fact a halfling adult and not a child. We can talk about the economy and
Dog.
horses.
Horses is good.
Horses is good. I think we're gonna stick with horses.
Yeah. They run
Horses
fast.
is
Horses.
multi-generational conversation.
Draft horses then. Very specific. Can this
Issue.
draft horse pull this cart?
What color is the cart? You know, just
Yeah.
normal stuff.
We
Yeah.
can get into a cool conversation here.
I like horses. They're neat.
That's
all of
exactly what I,
you-
as an adult, would say.
All of you make a perception check, please.
Sick.
This is my first roll today. Ooh,
Woohoo,
let's see how
same.
it's gonna be.
I got a 9.
Three.
Also got a 9, but
My beyond 20s being weird. 1 second, guys.
Oh, you still have
19.
inspiration?
no, it's not that I have inspiration. It's that I have Jack of all trades, which I believe adds. It has half of my proficiency score to anything I'm not proficient at.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
So it's actually a 10.
I
Okay.
love it.
So, Gert,
I
this does
still
not
have
include
to
you.
roll.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I have to refresh my page. It's like the little indicator isn't going on to the skill I need it to, so
Oh.
refreshing.
Oh, no.
Oh, it didn't do that for me either, but like it still, it like I just had to hit it.
Oh, did it? Oh, well,
Yeah.
it fixed itself now, so either way, it should be good. Oh, let's see what I did.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Hey, 15.
Whirl is and Cal, you guys seem like you're kind of all in on this plan, and Gert and Taryn, at that last bit, you recognize that while he may look convincingly like an adult halfling, he does not sound like one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say it. Let's be quiet. so how about Braelin? We play the quiet game. Have you ever played the quiet game?
That's what my dad tells me to do when he wants me to shut up.
Oh, that's so
Oh no.
Oh.
No. But ours is funner because you get to pinch the people who talk.
I get to pinch people?
Mhm. Yeah.
Oh, we're all
Or-
playing?
So-
Okay.
Or
Yeah, we're all
Or-
gonna play.
we'll get you sweets, whichever one, either one.
I like pinching people and
I
sweets.
think
Good.
you can deal
Good.
with an 8-year-old's
Aw, man.
pinch, bud.
I don't know. They have
Pinching
tiny
hurts.
little teeth, like knuckles, like those
It's true.
nails will get in there. It's gonna be good.
So, but that means that we get to pinch you too. So if you don't want to get pinched,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
you
Okay.
got it. So, okay, when we leave this room, that's when it starts. Okay,
Okay.
and then we don't do the pinching until we get to Mama Yalantha's. Okay.
Okay, got it.
So keep it in your brain. Keep it in your brain how many pinches everybody gets. And then when we get there, you get to go and pinch everybody, okay?
I can count to 7.
Perfect.
It's a great number.
Okay.
Such a good number. But wait, you can only count to 7, but you're 8.
I don't know what 8 means.
Perfect.
Okay. All right. Are we ready to go?
Yeah, I'm ready.
So,
I'm gonna get my words out right now.
What a
All right, we're good.
Awesome.
Great. Okay, so we're going. And we go.
Okay.
Do we like run into anybody on the way?
No.
That's gonna get us.
so-
That's gonna get us some pinches.
Yep, it's a pretty short trek, just a couple buildings over, across the street and a couple buildings over. So while you guys are kind of like a little shifty-eyed, there's so much activity going on in this area, being near the center of town, that nobody really misses a beat walking by you. So you are now at Mother Yalantha's.
Oh, look, a puppy. Shoot.
He's gonna like scoot over and pinch you in the leg.
I deserve that. That's okay. Good
And
job.
he's gonna point at you like, oh, I got you.
So we get there and sort of knock on the door, and wait for her to.
Okay. Yep. So shortly after you knock, a familiar face opens the door to you. It's Mother Yalantha. Oh, hello again.
Well, maybe come in.
Hello. Is
Maybe
it
come
okay?
in.
Is that okay?
Oh,
Can we
yeah.
come in?
I'm sorry, Gert. You're all of a sudden really
Oh.
quiet again. I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Weird.
I was talking over you. That's probably why. I'm sorry.
Ah.
Is there a way to turn people up in Zoom?
I have no idea.
I don't know, but Gert, if you move your hair back, I think that was one of the things we noticed in the very beginning. Was that your
No,
hair might
'cause
be getting in
it's-
the. Oh,
It's my laptop mic.
then never mind.
Yeah, it's not this mic anymore.
Oh, okay.
No. Yeah, I don't know. I got nothing.
All right.
Okay.
So what did you respond to her when? Oh, you wanted to come. Yes, she'll openly let you in.
Okay, so we walk in, and I look at Braelin and I say, "Okay, who gets pinches?"
Oh, just her. And he's gonna point right at Iz.
I'm just gonna
Okay.
hide my face with my hands. Oh no!
Ha ha ha! We won. Not you though.
Yeah, I lost, but you won. And I think that's what matters.
Is there anybody else in the room that we can see?
So
is
the
it just us?
Main area is just her. You can hear that there are other people in the building, and hear like people shifting around rooms, doors opening and closing if you start a conversation. But for at least the first couple minutes, it's just you and her.
Miss Yalantha, this is the child that I believe that the constable has contacted you about.
Oh yes. What's your name, young man? And she'll sort of lean over to him, and she's older, so you can tell she's trying to like squat down a little bit, but can't really go very far. So he's just gonna look up at her and say, "I'm Braelin. You don't remember me?" And she kind of has a confused look on her face for a second and goes, "Ah, you are Billy's friend, aren't you?" "Yeah, is he here?" And he's going to like run around to the back corner room, clearly familiar with this place, and knock on a closed door and say, "Billy, come on, play." But there's no response.
He has. Oh. Who's Billy?
He's my friend. We go play in the trees.
Oh, that's super fun. Do you guys like climb them and stuff?
Yeah, we like to climb on the trees and play rocks under the trees and run around the trees.
I'm gonna lean to
awesome.
Yolanta and say, "Is Billy here?" Like
Huh?
kind of a little bit quietly.
No, he left some time ago. I have a feeling he might be at these trees.
Is Yalantha? Oh, sorry. Yalantha, is Billy? How old is Billy?
I believe he's about 9.
How
I-
much
I-
has the constable filled you in on this situation?
Well, as I understand it, Braelin's not here. And he gives you a humongous wink.
Perfect.
Now, I can't promise that he won't get out and play, but it's also my understanding that the people in question have probably left town anyway. And I have protection in this house anyway.
We're trusting you, Yalantha. This is important to us.
Of course.
I'm gonna give her more money.
Why do you think I was swiping stuff in the shrine?
Robin Hood style. Nice. We're gonna go with 3 gold, so that'll put me at a 25.
Okay. Oh, thank you so much. I will be sure that this goes toward the child.
We really appreciate you taking care of them. We're, I would say, decent babysitters, but we have some other things we need to take care of, and we can't just, hang out with the kid all day. We want him to be safe and out of harm's way.
Luckily, that's what this helm is for, and please say no more. I find that the less I know, the better off we all are.
We're gonna be best friends, Yalantha, and just know it. Well, thank you. I think we should probably be on our way. If you have things from here, we'll come and check on you guys every once in a while. But for now, I think we have some other things we need to take care of.
You're welcome anytime, dear.
Thank you.
See you
Walk
soon,
out.
Braelin.
Bye!
Bye.
He's gonna start running up the stairs in the back as if he's going toward another room in the house.
Cute.
All right.
Do we want a quick bathroom break? We're gonna do like full intermission in a little while, but do we want just a quick minute or two here?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I am not going to flip to an intermission screen since this is going to be a real quick one. So we'll just be right back.
I was trying to figure out my videos being all dumb again. It's like lagging a little bit. Well, it's like lower frames, I guess. I tried to look up like tech support for Zoom, and they don't have any right now. Like, our customer support is working 24/7 since, everything that's going on and everyone's using Zoom. But we can't answer tickets right now because there's too many. Like, okay, cool.
Well, I want to say, like, the first day that everyone was back, at least in Indiana,
Mm-hmm.
Zoom was down. Like,
Oh, gosh.
Zoom as a whole was down. And so all of these elementary school kids' first day was just like, well, guess we're not doing anything. Zoom's not working.
Ew.
Wild.
Oh, that's the worst. Jeez.
Although, I saw one of the most heartbreaking things.
Okay.
A teenager realized that they will never have a snow day
I
again.
saw that, and it makes
Oh
me
my
so
God.
sad.
It makes my heart hurt. Like, snow days were the best. Or, like, at least the anticipation of a snow day. Like, you're sitting there waiting for the bus. and
I
you're, like,
bet some
listening to
school
the radio.
districts lay off a little bit and maybe have some fun and give kids a school day once or something like that. If there's
I
like a
don't
really
know,
crazy
man.
day.
Because, like, I mean, again, I grew up in Indiana where, like, we had feet of snow at any given
Right.
time because we get the lake effect
Yeah.
coming
Right.
off. From the time I was in 3rd grade until I was a senior in high school, we had no snow days because
Wow.
they claimed that we didn't have enough snow.
What?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I have a hard time believing that some administrator somewhere doesn't have the idea, you know what, this year's been really rough for everybody. Let's have some fun and give the kids a day.
I
Somebody
it-
somewhere's, right?
I mean, well,
Hopefully.
when I was at my school in New York, we had Sundays because
Fun.
we didn't need snow days because
Right.
we just like walked through our backyard to get
Right.
to our school.
Yeah.
And so if it was like a particularly lovely day, Rachel would be like, all right, we're gonna take a Sunday.
Right.
She would just
That's
give us the rest of the
adorable.
day off and say like, oh,
Nice.
go draw something.
Perfect.
Go draw some
So
trees. Yeah.
The concept of a snow day in California just seems so weird.
Yeah.
What we do have and have had over the last couple years, because of how hot it gets here, if it reaches a certain temperature, the power just goes out. Like,
Oh, wild.
the power
Yikes.
company will just turn it off because they don't want any fires to happen. The big fire that happened in November 2018, really close to where I live, was because of a spark from a transformer. It just caught some dry brush on fire and ignited
Yikes.
and went on for 3 whole weeks. So when it gets super hot, they just turn off the power and
Safe.
like offices close and schools close. They'll do it preemptively too. They're like, okay, we're gonna have these 3 days, so
Wow.
they can plan ahead, and like teachers can just shove homework on kids. Like, okay, go home and do this. We'll see you
Wow.
in 3 days.
But like,
So you have
isn't that
opposite.
so dangerous to like just shut off the power? Like, are you saying they shut off the power to like the school or like the city?
The city.
And
It,
so like,
it also
how
kinda
are people not
depends.
like too hot?
Yeah, like dying of heat stroke.
Right, in their own
Yeah.
you find a place that still has air conditioning, so they'll do it the whole city, but they'll do it in like quadrants. So the places that are the most susceptible to fire or the closest to it, the place that I used to work at was right next to the airport. Like, it was technically in the airport area
Mm-hmm.
because there's a bunch of industry and stuff over there. And it was right across the street from a giant grass field. So that whole region and like the homes surrounding that area were constantly barraged with, okay, we gotta turn off the power. So they would just tell us to go home for the day, or they would crank the AC super low and then just kind of ride it out for the rest of the day, since they had
Interesting.
like a built-in power bricks for all the computers and stuff. It's just, California's weird, man.
Nope.
Awesome.
It's like California's like a different country, like on paper, to anyone that's not in California.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, so we're all back. What was next? You guys are just leaving Yalantha's.
God, what was next? What did we do?
I don't think we
I don't think we decided
hadn't
yet.
decided. Yeah.
What
Did-
time is it?
It's just after midday.
Should we? Did we tell Whirl about where Roth? No, not Rothgar. That's not his name.
Rothar?
Rothar. Thank you.
Yeah, I also think it's Rothgar.
Rothar works.
You did
no.
not.
Just said
Yeah.
there's another butcher.
Yeah, we mentioned it like that.
Yeah, we
That was
mentioned
it.
the other butcher.
Yeah. I know that there's 2 butchers, and I tried to clarify the all of the guys are wearing this symbol, and I showed you what the symbol was and referenced that it showed up in that big symbol that we had. But yeah, the thing that I was the most surprised by was that Braelin said that his dad is afraid of all of those cult guys.
Huh.
So that was a piece of information I was not expecting to receive.
I wonder if
Maybe-
he's like being forced into cult stuff, or I don't know.
Maybe he's a pawn. He could either be a
Yeah.
pawn or he could be trying to please
Right.
them. Because that plaque, what was it, a plaque, DM? That said, don't displease the believers.
Oh yeah, it was a plaque on the large stone in the room that Braelin was being held in.
Right.
maybe he had displeased them, and this was his way of compensating.
Make a. What kind of check do I want you to do?
Maybe insight or
Either insight or history. I'll let you choose whichever one you'd prefer. Make an insight or history check.
insight or history. I'm gonna go with insight because I got big numbers in that.
Dumb.
16. Okay.
Nice.
So as you're having this conversation, you would be piecing together the fact that that sort of setup with this like in view written warning in the same place that someone was being punished is like a pretty typical form of like almost torture.
Oddly enough, it's just dawned on me that he was most likely was being tortured, not just left to die. Yeah, now that I think about it, that's a lot worse than it was probably when we first got there. I say we pay this other butcher a visit.
And I think that would be smart. I'm gonna have a hard time keeping my cool.
Oh, I'm furious. I'm not okay right now. Which is why I think we should do it now before any more emotion finds its way into my mindset.
I mean, what are we trying to get from? What do we need from him besides knowing where he is?
We just need to know where Rothar is from the butcher. We don't even know if the butcher himself is involved.
Yeah. The constable seems to think so.
I say we just go in and act like customers, like we did with the wagon situation.
I mean, specifically what information do we want out of him? I mean, do we just want to know if Rothar is there? Do we just want to know if Rothar is associated with the new butcher? Or are we looking specifically for more information?
Question.
Like, I mean, just total. Like, what do we want to accomplish going to the butcher other than physically seeing him and, like, then what? So he's there, like, hypothetically. Then what?
If Rothar is there,
Yeah, then what?
let's make friends. See if we can get an invite to his house, somewhere where he'll be alone.
And just kill him, or are we like I mean, are
No,
we gonna look for more information, or
not kill him, interrogate him. And then if we think that the butcher is also involved, we can see if we can pry any information out of him while we're at the actual shop. And then we'll change the plan from there, and maybe we won't go to Rothar's house right away.
Cal, what do you think about all this?
You guys say we go interrogate him.
Okay. Is everyone on board for that?
I'll listen. I think it would be best for me not to open my mouth in this situation.
yeah, sure.
I understand that.
All right.
Okay.
Let's go to.
Mhandyver.
Big name.
Mhandyver.
Mhandyver, yeah.
If you just imagine
Mhandyver.
it's Mhandyver, but don't pay attention to how you have to spell it, it's like way easier. He's a
Yeah,
man.
exactly.
I'll just spell it with sounds. In my
Yeah, I've got it like in parentheses now.
Yeah.
He's a Mhandyver. Yeah.
Cool. So, do we know where Mhandyver is?
I believe the
it's-
constable would have told you
Yeah,
guys.
he did.
No,
he
didn't you
did
say it
tell
was
you.
22?
No, that is
I
a
thought-
different
No.
place.
22
No,
is
that's the other shop,
yes.
Yeah,
but I don't know
the
about what I
sundry
listened about.
shop.
sundry shop.
Oh, right.
Yeah, 22 is the sundry shop where
The
the
Harper's
Endrith
contact.
Valvo lives.
Harper's people.
That I did not hear.
Mhm.
Yeah, so 14 is where you guys are looking.
That's what I was thinking.
Oh, that's close. That's close there. Nice.
Yeah.
It's not showing up here. There we go. Okay, heading straight there.
Sure.
Okay.
Let's do it.
On the outside, you guys can see that this building. I'm going to move this token a little bit. This building has clearly been added to several times. There's like one central building area that looks like it's a little bit more worn down on the outside, and then there's like chunks of lumber and like makeshift scaffolding pieces along the outer edges of the place that are indicative of like this recent construction. And there is a wooden sign hanging outside saying Mhandivers, with a picture of chickens sort of etched into it.
Oh, so this is a chicken butchery instead of a pork butchery. That's where the competition comes from.
Just wait until we meet all the other butcheries that are like all the other types of animals.
We got the cow butchery, the
Yeah.
horse butchery,
We got a fishery somewhere, apparently, probably.
a fishery. Should we just not?
It's a place of business. I assume we can just walk in.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, let's walk in. I would think we should not. Opening the door.
Okay, it is open, and when you look and walk inside, you see, contrary to the outside, which kind of looks a little bit more like the standard buildings here, the inside looks like a haphazardly constructed barn. There's like exposed beams all over the place. You can see straw sort of strewn across the floor, and into the various offshoots of the main area, you can see some cages as well as some like open, what look like nests really, with chickens and other small animals just sort of freely roaming around in those offshoot areas. And there are a few people basically kind of back and forth in those wings. They look like they're kind of tending to work as if they work here, just kind of being busy back and forth.
Right away. Do any of these people look like they have a strong build, are middle-aged, and have dark hair?
Probably all of them.
That person is 22. I think we're getting people confused. Or maybe did I mix them up for you?
Rothar's description was the dark hair, middle-aged.
Dark hair,
and-
middle-aged man.
Oh, you're looking for him.
Yes,
Got it.
for Rothar.
No, you do not see anyone fitting that description. There is a mix of women and men here, but nobody really seems to fit precisely that description. It's a pretty generic description, but nobody sticks out to you.
Just turning to the group, quickly, should we just look for them? Should we just ask who runs the establishment? I'm gonna approach one of the, just the first person that's, the person that's close to me. Excuse me, my companions and I are looking for poultry to purchase. Where would we go to make such a transaction?
Oh my, honey, I'm so sorry I didn't see you come in. That'd be me, Mini Mhandyver. How can I help you? And this large, boisterous human woman,
Mini Mhandyver.
Mini Mhandyver,
Mini Mhandyver.
greets you. You kind of surprised her. She was tending to some eggs in one of the coops in here, one of the small coops, and then you have all of her attention now.
1 second, I'm writing that name down real quick. Well, my friends and I were just in the market for some extra food and wanted to know about your stock.
Oh, honey, we all know you're not here for my chickens or eggs. Come now. And she's going to gesture for you. She's going to like set her basket down and gesture for you to come to one of the side rooms.
Giving the same look in game, just motioning, I guess, for everybody to follow, kind of awkwardly confused.
Yep. Make an insight check for me.
Okay. Come on, +4. Ooh, not so good.
Seems like she knows something.
We're gonna have to roll.
I'm gonna roll to fight a swarm of chickens.
It's Legend of Zelda.
There you go.
I can't remember their names. So I'm gonna wait for everybody else to catch up if they are, like, if we're gonna regroup instead of walk in a line.
I'm not sure what. Do you mean like?
Wait for us all to get in the room.
Wait for everybody for all of us to get closer together instead of me like being further away from everyone else.
Yeah. She would be gesturing to all of you to come with her, and then it's just like a offshoot room that kind of looks like a makeshift office, not all too different from what the constable has. But this place is like a lot larger, obviously. But it seems like a similar sort of approach that she's taking. She's trying to get you off, like, out of the public area. So she would be expecting all of you to come.
As everybody comes closer, I want to whisper to them, just be on guard. I'm doing the motion the wrong way because my microphone's over here.
Okay. This is kind of weird, but we're here.
Okay, when you all get in the room, she's going to quickly close the door behind you and pick up like a broomstick and start sweeping. And she kind of looks mad. You know, she's uneasy, and she's just going to start saying, "Seems y'all found a snake in my little abode." Give you a look with her head sort of going back and forth.
What are you talking about?
Oh, Rothar? Mm-hmm. Needless to say, he ain't working here no more.
I think we can.
Do
He's
hear
giving us the name.
what information? I don't even know how to ask that question. What do you know about Rothgar?
I know the constable has him on his little black list, and he ain't working here no more.
How did you hear about this? What happened?
Oh, honey, word travels fast to the right people around this town. I am one of the constable's contacts. Let's keep that between you and me.
Oh.
Okay.
Sure.
Would you... Can I incite her on that? I don't fully trust that.
Absolutely.
Okay, come on. Third insight check, we got it.
Yeah, I would be suspicious.
Big money, no whammies.
Well.
Big money, no whammy. Let's go. What'd I get?
Hey.
Hey, 16.
Yeah, you're surprised, but feeling pretty confident that she's telling the truth. You're just caught really off guard here.
Okay. Do you know where he went?
Well, lying little snake. Hopefully he's off some road outside of town. I don't know. I don't care. As long as he don't come around here no more.
what specifically did you hear from your source or the constable regarding Rothar?
Something here, something there about death dealing with some cult bullshit. I ain't want nothing to do with that.
Totally fair. I wouldn't either. I think you did the right thing in relieving him of his position here.
When did you hear about this?
Oh, early this morning. Of course.
When did he leave around the same time? Or was he kicked out around the same time? I would assume.
Are you talking about Rothar?
Yes, Rothar. Getting kicked out of Mhandyver's.
Oh, okay. She'll respond, oh no, I'm sure he left town as soon as you guys chased him out of that little wormhole he squirmed into. Nuh-uh, he ain't coming back around here. He does, he gonna have some hurt.
We chased Rothar? That was him?
Maybe.
Make another insight check. Make an insight check.
I think she will in a second.
Oh no. We let him get away. This is not a blanket, this is a hoodie.
Still comforting.
Can you make an insight check for me?
Yes. Yeah, sorry, I got distracted by food.
That's okay.
I relate.
It's very important.
Okay, so you never really got a good look at several of the people in the cave, but she is referencing something you remember that at least 2 people were not in the hole that you saw that Gert saw when she first went down.
You were gonna say something.
So
What do you know about the wagon maker whose name is currently escaping me because I don't have the right notebook?
Ilmith.
Illmith.
Oh, those
Indar,
eyes.
that money hoarding lion snake too. Good as going as far as I'm concerned. He better stay gone.
Amdar?
No, not Emdar.
You're not a fan of Amdar?
Oh no. Ever since he took over that wagon shop, he's been money hoarding and intimidating people. And now I hear he was involved with this cult stuff? No. Woman's intuition. Mm-mm. I'm having fun with this.
I love it.
That's amazing, I love it. You know, guys, I think we may know where they went. Because there was an entire other exit leading out of that cave.
Mm-hmm.
What if we went around there and looked for tracks or clues?
I think that's a great idea.
Do we know like where the exit exits, or would we have to get into the cave to exit the cave? This is both a group question and a probably.
Well, we know that the wagon shop was connected, so we might be able to find.
You had a hint that the wagon shop could be related at
Right.
least, but you guys did go look. You didn't find anything. There's nothing stopping
So
you
we
from
don't-
necessarily going again, but I will put in the reminder that is when she was running after Imdar as he was running away, there was a
Wait,
just like
Is
open
it Imdar
exit.
or Ilmith?
I'm sorry, Ilmith, not Imdar.
Okay.
Sorry,
We were
I
getting
was like,
confused.
Two I names. Ilmith, yes, I'm sorry. As he was running away, he led Iz to just like an opening at one of the ends.
Would I have been able to tell or see anything outside that secondary entrance or like tunnel exit? If anything was recognizable, like maybe a shack or a tree off in the distance that I might be able to recognize if we went over into that kind of quadrant area.
Yeah, so you didn't like go all the way out, but you did see the opening and you saw enough. You were able to see enough that it just went to like open space. You did see like a tree and one small building.
Okay.
But other than that, it was kind of like open field.
Okay.
Hey, is.
Mhm.
You said there was just one tree, not many.
I think
Right.
so.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't get a great look, but it did kind of look like a tree in an open area. Pretty broad there. So if we want to genuinely confirm it, we can just hop back in the hole and go up that tunnel.
You would have had enough wherewithal to recognize that that small passage you went through was going north.
Okay. Yeah. So based on just like logistics, would I be able to recognize if that was like this kind of area out here that I'm tagging across the street from Yalantha's?
It was like a straight shot north, so you would what's your stat there? What's your passive wisdom? Sorry, intellect.
Passive intellect, investigation 14.
Okay, so yeah, you'd be able to surmise that it should be pretty close to the actual road.
Okay.
And you saw a building, so you'd be pretty confident that it's like somewhere within the edges of the town.
Okay. Damn, that's a long tunnel. Okay. Yeah, it's somewhere kind of north of Yalantha's, kind of on the edge over there. So we can go look for weird tunnels that are exposed and see if there's any sort of clue over there.
Get more to look.
I mean,
Minnie, you've been
said-
extremely helpful.
Yes, thank you, Minnie.
Oh,
Very
as is my
much.
job. No, thank you. Oh my gosh, we need somebody to take care of all this business around here. It's way worse than we thought it was, and I want nothing to do with it.
Right. Business is bad?
No. Bad business, like cults,
Bad
bad business. No, but business has been good, but it could be better if we didn't have all this shenaniganizing going on.
Agreed.
We're gonna do our best. We're trying to figure it out for you.
So let's head to the northern side of the city. Once
let's do
is okay. I think is gave a thumbs up if I wasn't hallucinating. Yeah.
so-
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so you're just gonna head that way?
Yep. I'm just gonna start walking north along. Should we like split like two and three on both sides of the road to cover more ground, or how should we do it?
Well, looking at this map, right? We're thinking that it was north. That seems like a really far away, but this spot over here, I don't know if nope, that's not it. This spot all the way up here
Right.
sort of
Does-
fits that description of a tree and a little building.
And maybe if you're coming out and looking into it from afar, this structure has something to do with it.
So do we want to look in that general direction?
Yeah.
Yes.
So let's head north.
Great.
The western side of the road going north.
Okay, ping the spot you're looking for again.
Do we want to
Kind
start
of like up here.
Right
Yeah.
around here.
Yeah.
Okay, and all of you make an investigation check, please.
Woo! I got.
That's
Come
not
on.
what I did,
What I get? 19.
That's 4 plus 1, so 5.
Amazing.
Sick.
Okay. You guys are able to easily see that there is a significant opening in the ground right at the bottom of where the diamond is. The bottom tip.
Awesome. Wow, 20. I got best guesses. Is that only an opening, or is that like an actual building up here?
There is a building farther away, but this is like a little. How do I want to describe it?
So this is like in a separate area, like not up and down directly with each other, or.
Right. This is like a hole that looks like it goes into a cave.
Okay.
The area to your west is clearly like a quarry, which there are several around Red Larch. You can see scaffoldings and people working in especially this area with piles of stone, and nobody's going in or out of this opening, but it's like just an opening in the ground. It's about 6 feet tall and about as wide, kind of a clear-cut circular opening.
Well, I think we found it. Good job, guys. Let's. As you are the one who saw it, where do you think would be one of these men went if they wanted to escape?
Hard to say. Can we check to see if there's any like really obvious footprints or any kind of scuffs in the dirt to indicate that anyone has been through this tunnel recently?
Sure, make a survival check.
Okay.
Ooh.
6.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, it's really hard to tell between how well traveled this main road is and how well traveled this sort of offshoot path is in and out of the quarry. Like there's footsteps, wagon marks, everything everywhere. And even though you actually experienced and saw somebody running through this area, and you came yourself and saw it, there's nothing really discernible enough for you to be able to actually track anybody.
Okay. Yeah, this is a really good spot for a secret entrance into a cult cave. Constant foot traffic, whether that's people coming into town from the long road or people working in this quarry. It's gonna mess everything up. So, kudos to them for coming up with a really just choice spot for that. Unfortunately, I can't really tell where that guy might have gone. It was kind of a split-second decision of deciding whether to go off on my own and try and pursue this guy, or go back with the group and figure out what to do. So I didn't get a great look on the direction that he went. I mean, we can kind of just pick a house and choose, or go north and see if we can find him. He can't have gone too far if he left Red Larch.
Wasn't there
some
weird stuff happening north?
Yeah.
There was
We're gonna
often
check on.
in like the
That was
woods
like
somewhere.
northeastern mountain area with
Yeah.
more bandits. Yeah.
There was
But
the storm.
bandits.
But
That was
Right.
south. That was south.
There
That
have
was-
been,
I mean-
there've been
We
two
had a
storms.
storm as we were coming up from the other cave and stuff like that. There was another one that was off in the distance to the
Right.
north.
Yeah.
Oh, there.
Yes.
Yep.
There were two.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Do you think he might be going towards that? Like his whole cult has something to do with that?
See, I don't think he's part of the cult. Like
Illness
when
or
Rothar. I don't know if he's part of it, considering that Braden said he's afraid of the people with the symbol, and the symbol, I'm assuming, pretty hard to be the cult people.
Huh. Well, where would he run? Maybe he just lives up here somewhere. We could go back to Yalantha's house and ask Braelin, hey, where do you live? We didn't even think to ask him that.
I don't know this. Never mind.
yeah.
Has anyone heard anything from our factions?
I meant to tell you about that.
Thank you.
When we talked to the constable earlier, he mentioned that we have certain contacts for each of our factions. So
Mhm.
Whirl, ours is a guy named Endrith Delvo at the Sundry
What?
Shop. Yeah.
Valivo, Endrith Valivo.
Valvo.
Yeah.
Sorry, I can't fucking hear
You're
anything.
good. See,
Valvo.
that's very interesting and strange. So, full disclosure, team. When we were in the cave, I heard this voice from a friend of mine who told me that I needed to find that same person. Just in my head. Yeah, totally not terrifying.
So you're getting voices.
I got voice.
Cal is getting
I don't think we
seizures.
do we know that Cal is getting seizures?
I'm sorry, do you know that what?
That Cal is having like rage flashbacks?
He did tell you about at least one.
Okay. I couldn't remember if he told us about the first one because I know
I-
we haven't said anything about the second one.
I thought the first one was mentioned, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, the one in the Necromancer's Cave, I definitely remember he told you about that.
Cool. So yes, something is afoot because I hear voices in my head. Voice.
Whirl, make an Arcana check.
I had a follow-up that I was going to ask about someone to check out a necklace. Ooh.
You definitely would have been able to understand that that was a magically sent message.
Cool.
Directly to
So
you. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I have a friend who was magically talking to me and told me to seek out Endrith Valivo, and that what is happening in Red Larch is just the beginning. So
That sounds important.
I know, not terrifying at all to just hear in a cave.
Randomly, you know.
Yeah.
Well, if Endrith would know more, do you think that she would know where these two may have gone?
I mean, I that was my next immediate plan was to try and find this person once we got a footing of what we were doing with Braelin. So knowing now I assume Iz knows where this person is. I'm hoping.
Now.
Tight. I figured maybe we could go talk to Endrith. I do not know the gender of this person.
They, them. It works.
Tight. That's what I figured. Let's go talk to them at their sundry store.
Perfect.
Maybe buy some stuff. I don't know. Do we need anything?
I can go for a donut.
We'll figure out if we need something if we find something.
Cool. Was there any
Going
other
all the-
information? Sorry,
No.
was there anything else I missed while you guys were talking to the constable?
He gave us a couple other names based on the other factions that our compatriots are in.
Okay.
So we have several other sources to reach out to in the event that we need more information. Yeah, I mean, if we want to go talk to Endrith, then we can do that.
I mean, that's what I was hoping.
Sounds like a plan. I want to talk magically in people's heads. It's so cool.
I know.
Okay, so am I hearing correctly that are you doing like a beeline to this store, or are you doing anything else on your way?
I mean, did anyone else have? I guess we were kind of at a weird, like, questionable place after we looked at the end of the hole.
Iz wanted a donut, so I think we should go find a donut.
Perfect. Let's get Iz a donut.
I don't know.
Donut is optional. It's okay.
There is, as far as you know so far, the only actual place to get food that you've seen has been the inn. So
What about that pastry shop we kept making fun of?
the pastry shop that you guys made up. You know what?
Yes, that one.
Tell you what. Before next session, I will write in a pastry shop, just because you guys like it so much.
We're getting Iz that donut, y'all.
We'll make it happen. So as you're heading toward the shop that Valivo runs, I will point out that it's getting later in the day now.
Okay.
So you're starting to hit like the early mid-evening time. And when you get down to this building where 22 is marked, you're going to see me flipping to the right tab.
Number 22.
Yeah.
Where did I put my water? Guys, my water vanished. Help.
It was magic. I
Right
did
there,
it.
he took it.
It's magic.
I was like, secret water.
Okay.
I cast water walking on it. The spell doesn't do what you think it would.
Okay, here's what I have to tell you. Aside from the bewildering profusion of doors, barrels, rotting old furniture, and tools leaning against its outside walls, this building kind of looks like a private home. There's a small faded sign on the front door that reads Valavo's Sundries. And even from the outside windows, you can see that it looks like it's kind of packed with just stuff.
Is the door open or do we have to knock?
It is not open.
Okay, I'm gonna knock.
Okay. You as soon as you knock, you're gonna hear like some what sounds like pots and pans sort of crashed on the ground, and a male voice will yell out, "Just a second!" And you can hear stuff being like moved around, wood against wood, like as if something's being slid across a floor. And the door handle will sort of turn and it'll half open, and this kind of half disheveled looking man will poke his head out at you, and he'll say, "Hello, Valavo?"
Hi. I'm with the Harpers. I was told to talk to you.
Oh. Whirler is.
I'm
I shouldn't have
Whirl.
said that.
Oh, I shouldn't have.
Oh, you are Whirl.
What?
And he's
Hi,
I
Miz
am
over
Whirl.
here. Hey, what's up?
okay. And he's gonna kind of be like, he's a little skittish,
Okay.
and he's gonna kind of like look around behind you guys, checking both sides of the road, sort of thing, and like finish opening the door, and it's a little like dimly lit inside, and he'll like hurriedly gesture his hand for you guys to come in.
Okay. I'll scuttle in.
To everybody or just to Iz and Whirl?
I was gonna say, yeah, like, are we also allowed to join?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Scuttle.
Okay.
Extra
Scuttle,
stuff
scuttle.
scuttling. No.
He's gonna shut the door behind you, and it now becomes even more clear that this is a business, kind of like a business of junk.
Yes,
You can see
love it.
a smattering of old and new things. Everything from like chairs to knives and rods of wood and stuff that's like half constructed, and a few items that are sort of, there was like an attempt to make a neatly tidied room, and everything has like little signs. There's some shelves with signs that are like prices. This is kind of like a junk shop.
I love it.
And he's going to take you in a little bit, but he's not going to like hide necessarily like the other people have done. Although he did seem very careful about checking behind you as you guys came inside. And he's going to, where did that note go? Okay. Yeah, he's gonna say, yeah, I sent for you guys. You're here about trouble in this area, right?
Yes, we are.
He's gonna pull out an old-looking book and show it to you and say, I bought this from an old passing merchant not too long ago. I don't read Dwarvish, So I don't know what's in it, but this guy he was really sketchy. And I saw him doing this sort of thing with his hands whenever he talked to other people, and he kind of did it to me too. And I gave him a look, and he ended up just kind of leaving after that. You know, I've been told about this possible cult stuff that's been going on around here, so I contacted your contact for Harper's to try to check this out. I wonder if it might be related.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you go.
I think I figured something out, but I don't know if Taryn would be able to maybe put this together. Oh wait, no, never mind. Whirl didn't say that. Braelin pointed out that the symbols were dwarvish.
Right, I was gonna get there, but yeah, I did make a noise about the dwarvish part.
God, I keep forgetting his name. Braelin asked if it was dwarvish.
No, he said, "Oh, that's dwarvish," and I was like, "How do you know that?" And he's like, "I don't know, I just like symbols," and that was like the amount of information that I was given.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna
or he said
clarify
something
a
like,
little
"I think
bit.
they're dwarvish."
Yeah, it was discreet, but devil's in the details. He asked if it was dwarvish, and then before you even responded, he said, "I like symbols languages."
Okay. So there is a chance that it is dwarvish, but we're not 100% yet.
Correct.
Cool. Can I take the book from him?
He'll let you see it.
Okay. I'm gonna flip through it and see if anything like looks familiar. And say,
Okay.
oh, and then what kind of hand signals? You said that the guy was like doing hand motions.
Yes. Give me 1 second.
Sure. I wasn't sure if there were things we'd seen yet. As I'm flipping through the book.
The what was it? The Cal thing that happened with Cal?
Yes. If there was like some baseball signals, if we had to like steal third. It's gonna.
He would have done this.
Oh, that's a different one. I think. Cal, did that hand signal look like anything? Wasn't the other one just a fist? I don't remember now.
The other thing
It was
is
like a ball with thumbs on top.
Okay.
yeah.
And this one was like this.
I don't remember.
So weird.
As you're looking at the book, he's going to continue and say, you know, I didn't really hesitate to buy it from him, but he ended up telling me that he got it from some kind of shady keelboat skipper in Wumford. I guess he said he came by a dozen similar books.
Was it like a set?
I don't know. He that's all he really told me about it.
What other books do you have around?
You know, I think I might have a couple in the back. And he sort of shifts around and moves some stuff back and forth, and he ends up pulling out a couple of really old, clearly worn down. They don't even really look like books. They just look like messed pieces of paper that are loosely attached.
Like a manuscript kind of thing.
Yeah, and actually that's exactly what they are. Whereas this is an actual like book that could have been. It could be original written. It could be a copy of something. These are clearly like handwritten, very old parchment type paper and falling apart sort of manuscripts. And he kind of looks at them, and he'll hand one toward you and look at another and say, you know, this. I don't think there's anything really useful here. This is just like a little history on the valley. I don't even remember that one. And when you take a look at the one he just handed you, is kind of like a bestiary, a book about animals.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. You said that that book was in Dwarvish?
Definitely Dwarvish, although I don't read it.
You're in contact with the constable, so I would trust you with this information. But underneath the city, there are dwarven ruins, or the statues of dwarven warriors underneath. So maybe there will be help down there if you choose to explore. I don't know if you are the adventuring type, but
The constable told me about that, and I've seen the whole. I try to stay here as much as I can. And being a contact for a faction in this area is enough adventure for me, if you know what I mean. And he's going to have this clear sense of just being uncomfortable.
I understand. I just figured I'd let you know if you wanted to investigate it yourself.
Fair enough. But I think for now I can confidently say that if you need anything more from me, I'll probably be right here.
Have you, by chance, heard from someone named Mhandyver?
Vera. That's not a familiar name. Why?
Just wondered.
He's gonna give you kind of like a look of like, all right, what's going on here, but not really follow up on it.
Okay. Trying to figure out what else to ask. While I'm flipping through the book, did I see anything that looked familiar?
No.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, I did forget to. Good thing I took these notes. He's gonna continue as you're looking through this book, and he's gonna say, that's more of a more recent and slightly more close to home task that you guys might want to follow, but what I actually sent for you for was slightly more dangerous business. Is that gonna be okay? He's like wincing at the thought of what he needs to tell you.
I mean, at this point, what isn't dangerous business? What kind of is this unrelated to the things already happening in Red Larch?
Well, I don't know. I know that after I contacted the Constable, some other faction contacts did too. And it's not like we're against each other, but we've always had, like our own ideals and approaches to things that we want to do in the world. So I didn't think they were going to have 3 factions working together. At any rate, there's a delegation of important people that was supposed to be here a couple days ago. And we had word of them coming long before that, but they never made it to their previous destination. So, I need to tell you that group of people included a shield dwarf. He's a historian that was coming here to study some ruins with his brother. His name is Braelin.
Spell that for us.
1 second.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to spell that. Bruldenthar.
Rule that dwarven things are lawful.
Yeah. He was coming here to study some ruins, but he was also carrying another really important book from Waterdeep. and like I said, they didn't make it to their previous destination, and now it's confirmed that they're late to getting here. You know, it was a lot of people. I mean, they had an armored escort. There was a really important cleric involved, and as I understand it, they were carrying some really important stuff, including this book. So Harper's needs you to look into that.
So, it was this cleric in the in the same traveling group? Do you know, or were you just informed of them?
Well, yeah, I was told something about a pilgrimage, and they were with this group as part of that on their way here too.
What was the town they were supposed to make it to?
Ah, fuck.
Well,
Let me
they're
look.
traveling from Waterdeep, so that's 2 points connecting.
Right, but I don't remember what towns are in between there.
Yartar. The town name is Yartar.
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 Yartar, Fiddly-dee, okay. Oh, God. I'm like cronking right now. It's all coming together.
Right? So many things. Can you tell me more about the book that they had?
Unfortunately, I don't know really anything
Okay.
about it. But being a historian, as renowned as he is, and if he was transporting that here, you know, it must be important.
Right.
If I'm being told to tell you about it, of course.
Well, thank you for the information and for letting us look at this dwarvish book that you're gonna keep. I don't know, and now I have so many more questions that I don't even know what they are.
Oh, so many more. Oh
I know,
my
right?
God.
Just opening more worms and just leaving the worms around.
Yeah.
Oh, God. We're starting quests and not finishing any of them.
Do you have any questions?
I mean, I think you handled that pretty well.
Great.
I might have questions later, but
Tight.
we good.
Cool. Well, thank you very much, sir. I
Endrick.
kind of want to just look around your shop because I think shops are cool, but I don't even know what I'm looking for. So.
Yeah, is this an actual shop or is this just a front for you being a representative of the Harpers?
No, it's real. It's not very lucrative, but it gets me by.
I don't know. Do you have anything like cool we should see?
Yeah, any specialty items?
I think you
might
just
be
saw it.
interested in?
And he's gonna kind of get this like somber look on his face as he kind of looks around at all his own junk,
Fair.
and he takes another look at you guys and he says, "Yeah, this is more like a discount sort of place. I think you guys are well off enough. You don't necessarily need anything from me here, but I mean, feel free to look around."
I don't even know what to look for. I just like the idea of looking through discounts.
Thrift shopping.
I don't think.
I was gonna ask if there were any like toys, like
You're
a
so
wooden
good.
train
Oh.
or something.
Bless your heart.
He's gonna have this kind of confused look on his face and goes, "Toys, huh? I think so." And he goes off into like the next room over and digs around and finds a small crate, and he pulls out like a little wooden horse on small wheels, and then a series of what do you call them? Like little wooden
It's a
pegs.
horse.
Little wooden pegs like fused together somehow. They look like in real life jacks.
Oh.
You know what? I'm gonna take both of these.
Hey,
How
great.
much- How much is that gonna set me back?
That'd be 2 silver, please.
Right.
Okay, so I was right. This is a fantasy Dollar Tree.
Amazing.
I'm like, my mind is like
In all of the places, yeah.
Yeah, just everywhere, like connecting all the puzzle pieces.
Dot, dot, dot.
Hey, what do you
There you
have for
go.
wagons?
That's a good question.
Got
Do
a
you have
wagon out back?
parts?
Yeah.
Do you have
Wagons.
parts
You
for a
mean
wagon?
like for traveling?
Yeah, we've been looking in wagons for our future travels, but we're kind of under the impression that the other wagon store is not exactly up to code.
You mean Whalver?
Yes, that
And
gentleman.
he's gonna kind of perk up for a little bit for the first time since you guys got here, and he'll say, "I don't think you guys have to worry about that anymore. I think you'll enjoy the new management.
Do you know where he is?
Probably working
See,
right now."
The Wilver, not.
Oh,
not
Whalver?
the-
Oh, as I understood it, he ran.
Who's new management?
Didn't quite catch his name. Really cheerful fellow though, and
Cool.
seems like he was in on what was going on with his previous manager and made sure that you guys took care of it.
Oh, okay. I thought it was. I thought you were gonna make the wedding guy the owner of.
Oh
the-
no, that would have been funny.
That
Huh?
would whack
That
it
would.
in.
Yeah,
That's
Flister. Flister is the owner of the wagon store. I was so excited.
No.
Okay.
That would be amazing. Yes.
Well, cool. I think I'm really glad to know now that you are our contact, and maybe the next time we're around, I'll do a little more thrifting. I think right now our brains are a little fuzzy, and we're trying to figure out what we just found out. So,
Well,
thank
best
you
of
for all
luck
the
to you,
information.
and we'll let you know. I'll let you know if anything else comes up.
Sounds great. Yeah, obviously this is a very well-connected town, so I'm sure you'll give us the information.
Word does travel fast.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm gonna start shimmying back towards the door.
Okay.
Group shimmy activate.
Group shimmy.